MicroStrategy keeps buying, or Strategy B now. The government is setting up to buy. Um, it's just growing and growing. And I could repeat this over and over. All these different groups, where are they going to get the Bitcoin? Even Trump's own company, where are they going to get the Bitcoin? That's the only thing that keeps popping up into my head. So it's going off the exchanges bit by bit. And as you see all these different companies pop up, ones I've never even heard of, you're going to start to see the Bitcoin disappear. So this is going to be a truly amazing summer. And I can go on and post all these different companies, but it's pointless. The big move is coming. That's all I can say. Now, I'm conservative in my point of view, and as you can see right here, this more aligns to what I would be looking for, somewhere in the mid 240s to maybe up to close to 300K. That makes sense to me. But I could be wrong. We could be looking at numbers that are much higher. And this would be more akin to the stock to flow model that you see right here. And that is more of the mid 500 to maybe the 700 if we go over the stock to flow model, which has been very accurate in the past. We'll see. I mean, it's up to the market. But we're in that period of time. We're in the summer. In summer into fall, and this is when things get crazy. So if you see a move up to the 250, 300 range, and then it keeps going, well, then it doesn't really matter. This is more likely to occur, so I could be underestimating the market moves in the coming months. So we'll see. Do note the RSI coming off the bottom. That shows like constriction, compression. And when it explodes upwards, that's a reflection of price being compressed, the energy of it. So that makes a lot of sense. Plan B stated this in his current video. I'm not a big fan of indicators, but they do represent price and the energy of contraction and expansion. So take a look at that. And anyway, I hope you enjoy the video. Alright, it's summertime. I've been kidnapped by family, which is cool. I understand. So I'm back in action. And what I did is I'm going to redo the video because it's over a week old now. And when I was going to post it, so it makes no sense. So anyway, here we are with Bitcoin. You can see where we are. We're around the 104K level, and I'm expecting prices to go up. I'm not doing anything. Again, I've overtraded the range. I've increased my Bitcoin, Ethereum, everything by over 20%. Just trading the ranges from the 80 to 100K range. And I don't want to go over and miss the bigger move up. And I see the price action, and they're buying. The big money is trying to keep everything very mellow and cool and not attract any attention, but you could see the buying. It's obvious, just like before. So let me go over and focus on the keys. And the key here, when I look at this chart, is this blue box from May 1st. I want to be long, and I've said this before. And my first area of resistance would be right up here in the 128K range, the mid 128K range. That makes sense. And beyond that would be then next in the mid 184K range. So a move when we get above here to here, maybe a drop, and then back up all the way up to here. So it should get exciting in the coming months. And we're entering summertime. May to June, now June, we are officially in June. And, that's the blast off period, June to July to August. It could get wild. And so I'm just holding, and there's nothing for me to do. I'm looking for these levels. I'll wait for the bigger move to occur. It's probably going to come off of who knows what. You've seen all the news, and it's just the bigger money doesn't want the excitement. They want it to be very slow price action where nothing is moving and it's very boring, so it doesn't attract any attention. Um, but at some point, that's going to break through, and we're going to get our bigger targets, like all the way up to here to the 240K range. Now, I've seen videos of where the cycles and everything come into alignment, and I kind of think because of the institutional demand and whatnot, the cycles don't really mean as much anymore. So we could continue to go up to 2026 and not get a pullback. We can have it slow and steady upward movement, not to attract attention. Because the last thing the bigger money wants is the retail FOMO to come in and start messing up their pricing. Um, they want to accumulate as much as they can with slow, uh, you know, uninteresting price action, which is kind of like what we're getting with these small ranges. So nothing interesting, and they keep accumulating. But that's going to go by the wayside when the Bitcoin runs out. It's just that's going to happen. And when it does, then you'll get levels here, and then up to there, and then ultimately up to here, and maybe likely above. The next target above there is this. Uh, and let me get this. Cannot grab it. Hate these charts by. Here we go. Alright, it's right there. So when that occurs, the target 2 is up here, and this aligns with what is that? Aligns with other targets that I've seen, and I can go over and I'll post in the video. You've probably already seen it because I put it in the front about projections and where people are looking. But this is the most logical. This first one right here. That's the most logical target. That's the 423% range. And Bitcoin loves to go over and go to it and then pull back. But sometimes it can go above. And the targets as far as the stock to flow model, as people know, is closer to this up here. So a movement to here to this range, if we really get crazy, would not be out of the question. But when does that happen? Well, first, let's focus on this. And this is the main target right here in the 240,000 range. That is almost certain to occur. I think these are minor areas, and I might not even trade them. But we'll see. Now let's go to Ethereum, which you can see we almost went up to the first target zone, which is just off of the falling wedge type of pattern that you have right here. It's gone all the way up to the 27, almost 28K area, but this is not interesting. I don't really care about this. This could have a wide range. Not interesting at all. Even if it goes up to this target, I don't care about it because the real target that I'm looking for is going to be based off of this. Let's go to a daily. And if you see this right here, this pattern right here is far more interesting. And the geometry is all in place. Forget about the inside patterns and the smaller targets. They're pointless, not interesting. But this pattern right here and the consolidation that it's created, that's interesting. And once we break this 4K level right here from the lows all the way here to there, this is going to send it to new highs and into the 7,000 range. And ultimately, I would look for the 10,000 number, the 9 to 10,000 range up here. This makes the most sense and of occurring. On a percentage basis, that's 200%. all the way to the 172.8% level. This range makes perfect sense, this main target right here. But beyond that, if it goes into Bitcoin mode, where it really chugs along, let's say Bitcoin goes up to that 500K level, then we're looking at numbers that go all the way up to the 20,000. Now, if you remember the similarities in the chart and so forth being an early Bitcoin, this is what Bitcoin did. Has very similar numbers. What Bitcoin did before it ran to almost 20,000. So don't think that this can't happen. This can. That's why I like the movement for Ethereum and the price returns even more than Bitcoin. So I'm very positive on Ethereum. And once we break out of this, this is your main, area up here, and then ultimately all the way up to here. And I've said this before, I believe. Here, let's go to weekly. And if we go and look at that, you can see the logical targets, the 200% is right up here of this range. And this has taken a long time to consolidate. It's taken a long time to consolidate. So it is, so is Bitcoin, kind of. These ranges that you see in the low 100,000 all the way to 111, nothing. They're not interesting. We've already had the breakout. Now it's just a continuation upward to the upward targets. And this chart is more interesting on a percentage basis because, it's almost like a 10x type of, move. It's just staring at us in the face. When this goes, it's going to be a bigger move. And it's going to get more attention, I think. So I'm very positive on Ethereum, and the upside targets are they're large. They're huge compared to Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes from where it is all the way up to, let's say, 500,000 around. From where we are, 4 to 5x is a big deal. But this goes to its target up here, then it matches Bitcoin at there. But if it goes up to here, I don't have to tell you, on a percentage basis, that's a much bigger return. So I think it will outperform Bitcoin in the future. And when it gets crazy, and I've seen Ethereum get crazy, it can get much, much more crazy. So that'll be interesting to see. The last one I'm going to talk about is GME, because that's the one that's going to have the biggest returns. Now, where I was a buyer. I was a buyer in the 2150 and under level, and I didn't think we were going to get a pullback to these numbers down here, which would have been nice if we did, but I didn't think that was going to happen. And sure enough, it didn't. And we moved all the way up to the mid $30 range, and that's nice, but that's not what I'm paying attention to. I don't care about that. This is a future MSTR, MicroStrategy reboot, in my opinion. They've announced that they bought 500 million in Bitcoin. That's a start. If they're smart, they'll keep on buying, and that'll juice the stock up, because they're buying their own stock in anticipation of a move. Now, what happens on this move? Well, we could take the crazy prices that we had in the past, and I've done very well with GME, playing it from the days of between the shorts and the what's his name, Roaring Kitty, that group of people, the insane prices that we had. I cleaned up on this by ridiculous amounts. It doesn't even matter. But again, now I'm looking for ridiculous amounts once again. This time, if we follow this trend line out, we can break this trend line, and we're going to head right back up to here, the $60 range. to test this resistance. That's going to happen at some point. And then continuation up to the upper 70s makes sense. And then ultimately, it's going to keep breaking out and going. And we're going to be looking at the $200 range right here. So if this follows Bitcoin, this is what we're looking at. So let me ask you a question. If you have a $20 investment and you're looking for 10x that $20, is it, does that make sense? And I think it does. And ultimately, let's say it goes really crazy up to the 423%. People understand that this is the future MSTR. We can get numbers that go all the way up to here. So there you go. This is the future MSTR. And I think people are going to start paying attention to it. I think we haven't seen anything yet. I think there's going to be a flood into this space. And it's going to be into Bitcoin. It's going to be into Ethereum. It's going to be into GME. Maybe MSTR too, but my thoughts on that is it's kind of overbought. This is a future MSTR is the way that I would look at it. And that's basically all there is. Those are the three I'm going to focus on. I don't really need to talk about any of the altcoins because there's nothing interesting there on the charts. One thing I will say is that I've noticed that, great, my throat is going, too much fun for the past week, but that silver is starting to move as well as gold. And 36 is the first target up here, and it makes sense. It's on its way there. Had that fantasy pullback to here, and yeah. So I would look for silver to make its move up to here. Finally, it's taken forever. And ultimately, beyond that, we could be looking at numbers that go all the way up to here. We'll see what happens. We have interest rates cuts likely coming, so that could juice the market. And I think the move in Bitcoin is, they're keeping everything very low key, trying to take away the attention because they don't want to show that Bitcoin is going to go in price because they want to acquire as much of it as they can at the lowest possible price as they can. And the low $100,000 range would be great for them. But this is the future target, and I don't think I'm going to do anything until the minimum I get to this level here. We'll see. I might do something simply because of patterns and price action along with the volume. But I'm looking for much bigger numbers upward, and I'm not going to be quick to react. And that's basically it. So there you go. Until my next video, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time.